What's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get here with the truth. So today we are doing the mid-year top 10s on the 135-pound lightweight division as I break down update and re-rank the top 10s from my year-end top 10s at the end of 2022 heading into 2023. So before we get into that, if you guys could smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I try to build my channel up here. If you don't like what I'm doing, you could always give me a thumbs down. Let me know why. I appreciate it. And leave me a comment if you don't like what I'm doing, But all that being said, let's get into this. So my mid-year top 10s, we basically talk about the guys that I have dropping out from the end of years, and then I give my rankings where they stand right now. Again, these are unofficial. My official top 10s are at the beginning of every year, end of the year, beginning of the year. Those are my official top 10s heading into the new year. But at mid-year, I like to give you updates and re-rank based on, what they've done so far this year and what they got going on. So let's get into it. The lightweight division now, dropping out of the top 10. There's only one guy. That is Jeremiah Nakathila. Nakathila got his ass whipped against Raymond Muratalla, and he was previously, he was towards the back. I believe he was like number 8 or 9. But yeah, he just got cracked in that fight against Muratalla. That was on the Haney-Lomachenko undercard, and it really needed to drop Nakathila out. It was sad because he was coming off that win the year before against Miguel Berchelt, but totally didn't capitalize, and he got beat down pretty easily in that fight in 2 rounds. Now, jumping into the top 10, guys, let's see who is there and who's doing what. We have a 2-way tie for 10th. First up is Zaur Abdullayev. He previously wasn't ranked. So far, he's 1-0 this year. He's got a decision win over over Ricardo Nunez. Abdullayev's the guy that stopped Jorge Linares last year in 9 rounds. Or I don't know if it was 9. I think it was in the 12th round of a fight that he was losing on the cards. Showed a lot of heart. He's been in the ring with Devin Haney. He's currently the WBA's number 3 ranked contender. So if those belts go vacant at lightweight, very easily could be seeing Abdullayev before the end of the year fighting for one of those belts. So wouldn't be surprised. We'll see what happens. But Abdullayev, I think his work ethic, I compared him to some of the other guys that are floating around the top 10. They're on the bubble. And I like Abdullayev in the top 10 for now. Tying him for 10th is Gustavo Lemos. He actually was number 10 by himself coming into the year, but he hasn't fought yet. He's still riding high off of his victory last year over Lee Selby, where he dominated and beat up Lee Selby, who retired after, and that made him the IBF's number 1 contender. So he's still waiting around to see what the IBF decides to do, but he hasn't stayed busy. He is supposed to be fighting on August 19th, but he doesn't have an opponent yet. Maybe they're waiting around to see what Devin Haney's going to do. Maybe the IBF's going to award him with an interim title fight. Excuse me. Hopefully we hear something soon. But I want to see, but we very easily could see Gustavo Lemos fighting for and becoming the IBF champion before the end of the year. That's if Devin Haney gives up those belts. So Gustavo Lemos, don't sleep on this guy. He definitely could be making some noise before the end of the year. Number 9, dropping 1 spot for number 8 is undefeated William Zepeda. Zepeda is your WBA's number 1 ranked contender. He returned this year and got a win over a guy named Arboleda. Jaime Arboleda got a 2nd round knockout against him. His next fight is, we don't know yet. William Zepeda, though, he's the guy that beat Rene Alvarado and then last year defeated Joseph Diaz. So he's riding high. He's still wanting to get into the mix. Again, he's the WBA's number 1 ranked contender. So you could be seeing this guy fight for the vacant title before the end of the year. Frank Martin is also high up in those rankings, and Abdullayev is also there too. So, or you could see him fighting Tank Davis because he's the number 1 contender, and Tank is the regular champion. So if Tank gets upgraded to champion because Devin Haney decides to move up in weight, then we could see Tank get ordered to defend against his number one, which is Zepeda. So don't sleep on Zepeda if you don't really know him. You're kind of a casual. Zepeda's a solid-ass fighter. And we very well could see him fighting for something big for the end of the year. Number 8, I'm sorry, is undefeated Raymond Muratalla. Was not ranked coming into the year. This guy came out of nowhere and blasted Jeremiah Nakathila in May on the Haney Lomachenko undercard. Blasted him, stopped him in 2 rounds. That absolutely earns him a top 10 spot, and very much so looking forward to seeing what this guy does next. Now, his highest ranking is number 10 by the WBO, but he could work on that very quickly and move up the rankings. And there's just other guys like Shakur Stevenson and Jermaine Ortiz that are there and also are top ranked guys that Muratalla could be getting. But Muratalla's at the party now. He's fighting in the most loaded division in boxing at lightweight, and I can't wait to see him throw down. So in his next fight, what he does following his biggest win, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in the second half of the year. So we'll see. Number 7 is Jermaine Ortiz. Ortiz, he's the WBC's number 7 contender. He actually was previously number 7, so he remains in the same position. But he hasn't fought this year. He was supposed to fight, and then he missed weight by a lot, and he got kicked off the card because he missed weight. He says it was because of an injury suffered in training. So we don't really know, but Ortiz has been on the up and up to this point. So hopefully we just see him back in action against somebody solid in the second half of the year. Not expecting him to land a title shot, but you never know. Maybe he'll get a crack at Shakur Stevenson for a vacant belt, or maybe him and Muratalla can get together. There's a good amount of options in the top ranked stable. So I think Ortiz will return and do something solid before the end of the year. Number 6 is former world title challenger Isaac Cruz. He stays number 6. He is the WBC's number 3 contender right now. He's actually returning on July 29th on the Spence and Crawford undercard on the Showtime pay-per-view, and he's taking on undefeated Giovanni Cabrera. Hasn't really fought anybody, doesn't have a lot of knockouts, so Cruz is coming into this one the favorite. And to be honest, I think Cruz is the likely option to land Tank Davis for the end of the year in a rematch. I could be wrong. He could be a guy fighting for a vacant title given up by Devin Haney. We don't know. But I would be, I think there's about a 50-50, maybe more chance that Tank Davis lands that big fight with Tank, the rematch, before the end of the year. So we'll see what happens. But Isaac Cruz, I got him beating Giovanni Cabrera by either a decision or a stoppage, and stay rolling here in the lightweight division. Number 5 is former unified champion George Kambosos Jr. He drops 2 spots from number 3. He's the WBC's number 6 contender right now. He hasn't fought yet this year, but he just signed a contract with Top Rank, and he will return to fight Maxie Hughes on July 22nd, headlining an ESPN card. He's going to shake off the back-to-back losses to Haney in that fight. I think he'll get a victory over Maxie Hughes, and then I'm hoping for a bigger fight before the end of the year. There's been talks if Lomachenko doesn't get a rematch with Devin Haney, and Haney stays champion, that maybe Lomachenko will fight Kambosos. I do believe, even though he kind of shot it down a little bit the other day, I also believe that Kambosos could very well fight Teofimo Lopez at 140, but that's looking less likely. But I wouldn't completely rule it out either. But Kambosos really is one of those guys that he's not a great fighter, so guys are going to be willing to sign up to fight him, and he's good enough to keep the fight interesting. He talks a lot of shit. He'll sell a fight. So I'm looking forward to seeing him come back in July, and then also looking forward to seeing if he can land something bigger towards the end of the year. Number 4 is Shakur Stevenson. He remains number 4, the former 2-division champion. He officially moved up to 135 pounds and took on, what was his name? Some Japanese fighter named Yoshino, who wasn't a bad fighter. people were questioning if Shakur was gonna have power at the weight, and he moved up and dominated Yoshino, stopping him, I believe, in 6 rounds. And now he's the WBO's #1 ranked contender. So if Devin Haney vacates any belts or vacates all the belts, Shakur's going to be fighting for at least one of them. And, you know, we just heard that he turned down a fight with Devin Haney, but people are complaining that, you know, he should have taken a fight. But Devin Haney only offered him 25% of the purse. I'm sorry, even though Devin Haney has all the belts, that's bullshit. I know a lot of people are like, well, Devin Haney took chump change to fight Kambosos. Okay, that's all good and well, but this guy, Shakur Stevenson, is a bigger name than Kambosos. I mean, well, no, I take that back. He's just a good size name, and this is a very big fight in the United States, and it's a risky fight, and I think it's a little bit different than Haney and Kambosos was, just because I think most people felt Haney was going to win that fight. This one, you know, a lot of people are looking at it as 50-50, and Shakur deserves more money in his eyes, and I believe he does too. But Shakur, I do believe, is going to land something solid before the end of the year. It may not be a top guy that he wants. It may not be Tank, Lomachenko, or Haney, but it should be a good, solid fight. And it'll be good. A good name opponent, most likely, for his second fight at lightweight. That ain't bad. I'm just hoping he gets a crack at something before the end of the year. Number 3, moving up 2 spots from number 5, is the undefeated WBA regular champion, Gervonta Tank Davis. Tank returned in January and took on junior lightweight champion, undefeated Hector Luis Garcia, in the main event of a Showtime pay-per-view card. He broke down Garcia, dominated him, and stopped him to retain his regular belt. Then in April, he moved up 1 pound and took on undefeated Ryan Garcia in a non-title fight as they fought at a catch weight of 136. He stopped Garcia in the 7th round of that fight. It was a big super fight, and now he's pushing forward. Now, Gervonta basically can call shots and get any fight that he wants at 135, but that's the problem. I don't think he wants the 3 biggest threats to him, which are Devin Haney for the undisputed title, Vasily Lomachenko, or Shakur Stevenson. The latter of the 2 both fight with top rank, so it probably would be a negotiation kind of nightmare, because he would want to control everything, and those guys just aren't going to let him control everything, you know, in the promotions. So, I think the fights can be made, though, but it'd be a lot of hoops to jump through, and we just got to wait and see. But I personally feel that Gervonta, once he's done with his house arrest and his personal bullshit, I think we're probably going to see him return in November, December area and face off against Isaac Cruz in a rematch. Now, I could be wrong. By that point, he could get upgraded to full lightweight champ and have to fight somebody like William Cepeda, as I mentioned earlier in the video. But I think Tank will definitely be back for the end of the year. I'm favoring a rematch with Isaac Cruz, but hopefully it's something decent that we can see from Tank for the end of the year. Number 2, still number 2, is former 3-division world champion, 2-time Olympic gold medalist Vasily Lomachenko. As Lomachenko is currently the WBC's #1 ranked contender. In May, he challenged Devin Haney for the undisputed lightweight championship of the world and turned in the best performance of his career, in my opinion, against the toughest challenge of his career, in my opinion. And also, in my opinion, he was on the wrong side of a bad decision, in my opinion. Now, I'm not going to say he was robbed against Devin Haney, because the fight was close. I think at the very best it was 7-5 that Haney could have got. I personally had it 8 rounds to 4, but I can see 7-5. You know, Lomachenko was pushing the action. He was fighting, moving forward, landing the more telling shots. Yes, Devin Haney did well to the body, but he was backing up the whole time, and his counter punches were mostly to the body. he did some good work, don't get me wrong. It was a close fight, but I don't feel he deserved more than 5 rounds in that fight. So for me, Lomachenko was on the wrong end of a bad decision. I feel bad for Vasily Lomachenko because he cried after the fight. It was a tough one. I'm hoping that the gods align, the boxing gods align, and Lomachenko gets his rematch, because Devin Haney's people, his dad in particular, are saying that he doesn't deserve the rematch. But in a close fight, a fight that'll make money, why not fight the guy again to leave no doubt? And this goes for our number 1 undefeated champion, Devin Haney. Now I'm talking about him too, because he's still number 1. Everybody knows that. He should want to leave no doubt and fight Vasily Lomachenko again. That's just my opinion. We'll see what happens though. But I mean, I wouldn't hold it past him. But I think Haney has other options. Well, that he wants. He wants Gervonta Tank Davis, of course. But I doubt that fight happens. He offered Shakur Stevenson chump change, 75-25, and Shakur has shot that down, so that's not likely to happen. I didn't think it was anyways. But there's also the option that he moves up to 140. So a lot is going to go down, in my opinion, in the second half of the year, and we're gonna see some things, hopefully, and hopefully we see some big fights. But I'm really hoping for Haney Lomachenko 2 for the undisputed title in a rematch. But we'll see what goes down. But that's it. That's what I got. That's my mid-year top 10 for the 135-pound lightweight division. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.